Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Carbondale Unitarian Fellowship Spiritual Sustenance, our online alternative to Sunday services. I'm Reverend Sarah Richards, minister of this congregation of folks with open minds and open hearts. We are all ages, all colors, all genders, all abilities, all kinds of wealth, all kinds of love. If you're new to our spiritual sustenance service, a special welcome to you. Please feel free to reply by email or on Facebook to introduce yourself or ask any questions you might have about the fellowship or about Unitarian Universalism. This being the last Sunday of the month, it's also our last opportunity to reflect together on the theme, what does it mean to be a people of thresholds? We often hear that life is a journey. I know I use that metaphor a lot. And along that journey are innumerable thresholds, like walking through a tunnel or crossing a bridge or hesitating before choosing from different paths. Once we cross the threshold, we are in a different place, maybe physically, almost always emotionally and spiritually. We have changed. So it makes sense that crossing a threshold, we often mark the occasion to remember, to honor, to celebrate that milestone in our life's journey. One of the most important milestones we celebrate as a faith community is high school graduation of our youth. And we're going to do that today. We're also going to hear about and celebrate many different milestones from our community members at all stages of life's journey. So let us begin by lighting a chalice, symbol of Unitarian Universalism. I invite you to light your own chalice at home or bring Cuff's chalice to mind as our facilitator, Jan Eisenhard, reads our chalice lighting.
Our chalice lighting milestone is adapted from White Widow. A milestone should not be a millstone weighing our spirit, rather a stepping stone buoyed by the water of life, used to keep us above water as we bridge the gap. Milestones should not be millstones, rather paver stones used to mark our path, where we've been, where we're going, forming a pleasing pattern in the earth to gaze upon, to excitedly anticipate. Milestones should not be millstones to grind us down while we continue to grow. Rather, gemstones that glitter with the light, marking the blessings along our path. Milestones are not millstones, unless we see them that way. Please listen or join in singing with Bob Swenson, our hymn, Spirit of Life, by Carolyn McDade.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the strength of living life with shape and justice. Words hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of light, come to me, come to
It's time for all ages, when we reach out to everyone who is young and or young at heart with a message on our monthly theme. So if you are young or think of yourself as young, regardless of how old you are, Time for All Ages includes you. This week, our religious education coordinator, Jody Ruffner, has created a video to show us how to make collages as a method of self-discovery and spiritual practice.
Hi, I'm Jody Ruffner, and today's Time for All Ages activity that I'll be sharing is creating a collage with the theme, What are you reaching for or hoping for? I'm an artist, but I don't regularly use collage necessarily, although I thought collage is a great way to be creative without having to feel like you have to be a skilled artist, and it can be very therapeutic and introspective and also reflective. You probably have all the materials you would need in your home already. So let's get started. The materials you will need are a pencil, a black marker like a Sharpie, 2 pieces of white paper. It's nice to work with at least 9 by 12 or even bigger. You'll also need white glue or glue sticks, and you can use Mod Podge as both an adhesive as well as to use as a top coat when you're all finished. Most importantly, you need a few old magazines and newspapers and a pair of scissors. Your first step will be on one of your pieces of paper, use your pencil and trace your hand, including a bit of your wrist. Use your black marker and trace that outline. Now, flip your paper over. You should be able to see the black outline of your hand coming through the paper. Use your marker again to trace the outline of your hand on that opposite side. It may not make sense now, but it will later. Take a minute to reflect on things you are hoping for in the future, hoping to do soon. What are some goals you might have? Where are places you long to visit? Maybe there are changes you want to make inside yourself or in your way of being. Hold these thoughts as you go forward in your collage activity. Now, flip through the magazines and tear out some larger images to use as your backdrop, so to speak. Don't think a whole lot about your choices. It could be a sunset or a swath of beautiful, vibrant green in a field, or an intricate pattern that you're really drawn to. Keeping in mind where the outline of your hand is, paste these bigger pictures on top. Don't worry, the edges will inevitably fall over the outline. Next, turn over the paper and use the tracing to cut out the shape of your hand. Now go through your magazines again and look for images or words, colors, patterns that somehow connect with those things you are reaching for or hoping for. Tear them out or cut them out and begin pasting them on your second piece of paper. Do keep in mind where you might want to end up gluing your hand. Reserve some special pictures and words for the very last finishing touches after you've glued your hand down. Now, glue your hand down and fill in with the finishing touches. And last but not least, trim off the edges where some of the magazine paper may be sticking out. Voila, your finished collage. I hope this project might inspire you to do more collages. There are countless themes you could reflect on with collage, and the more you make, the better they'll become.
Thank you, Jody. Friends, even when we are apart, and really especially when we are apart, the time that we share our sorrows and joys is a sacred time, deepening our connections with each other. I invite you to speak your own sorrows and joys aloud now, dropping a pebble into a bowl of water, letting your feelings ripple out to unseen hearts. Blessed be. And now I invite you to open your heart to the sorrows shared today.
These sorrows were spoken at the Vespers service this week. Bridget Rose mentioned her sorrow at hearing that as a nation, we've just topped 100,000 lives lost to the coronavirus. She also spoke of the terrible tragedy of the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Jess Jobe mentioned that the New York Times printed 1,000 names of people who have died from the pandemic on their front page. A Facebook friend had heard that she was reading those names out loud and asked if she happened to see the name of someone she loves who is missing, Robert of Clearwater, Florida, but Jess had not. And Jess asks for our prayers for Robert and for all who have died. Jody Ruffner has been trying to come to terms with the fact that people she knows are questioning the validity of statistics about COVID-19 on Facebook, questioning the necessity of wearing masks and taking a vaccine. This brings Jody grief and causes her to lose faith in those persons.
As we hold each other's sorrows and pain, we also seek to celebrate joys and gratitudes.
These are the joys that were shared at Vespers. Hugh Muldoon was joyful of what he called a simple thing, that Dan Marsh and Mary Sullivan were participating in Vespers. He noted that that in itself is a milestone, and he was glad that they were both there. Dan Marsh expressed his joy and gratitude for all of his friends and family, for all of their prayers and thoughts of healing after his surgery last fall, and during the radiation therapy that he has been undergoing. He wishes people could come to visit and that they could have a party. But Mary said, nope, not yet. Mary Sullivan said that it's wonderful to see Hugh Muldoon. She said, it's been a while. Jody Ruffner's great joy is that her daughter, Aiden, graduated from Murfreesboro High School a week ago Saturday. They had a really nice ceremony given the circumstances. She and Charles are ready for Aiden to move on and are excited for her. Yay, Aiden. Candy Davis also had a great joy. Her youngest son, Johnny, who is an artist, will be opening up his business soon and will be able to close on his new house, which has been on hold for a while.
For all the sorrows, joys, worries, and gratitude expressed aloud or held silently inside our hearts, we have lit candles, and now we will share a moment of silence. Please join now in singing the hymn, I Know This Rose Will Open. Words are on the screen.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. This rose will I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know my fear will I know this rose I know my soul I know my wings I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know my fear I know my wings I know my soul I know my wings I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know my fear I know my wings I know my soul I know my wings I know this rose I know my soul I know this rose I know this rose I know my fear I know my wings I know my soul I know my wings I know this rose I know my soul I know this wings I know this rose will open.
Well, we are separated by physical distance, but our commitments to the fellowship and our community remain. As we've shared our sorrows and joys, we also share our financial resources to deepen those commitments. Our fellowship is here now and will be here in the days to come, providing a spiritual community, personal spiritual space, and supporting our communal needs. The reality of the need for financial support is also still here. Consider switching to direct deposit during this time, or submit your offering by mailing a check to CUF. The address is on our webpage and also at the bottom of the email. Your offering will be received with great gratitude and in recognition of our shared hopes and values.
This is a song by Robert Hoyt. He's one of the Cousin Andy's performers who's come back many, many times to our Cousin Andy's music series. And I think it expresses very well the idea that no matter what kinds of difficulties we come across, there's one thing that we can always depend on, and that's a star up in the sky. I think he's referring to the North Star. The song's called This Star. There's a star in the night sky, just a tiny light. Seems insignificant, it's not very bright, but it's the most important star in the sky. And as you listen, you'll understand why. It's the tip of the handle, the bluebear's tail. Even behind the clouds, it shines without fail. And in this hemisphere, wherever you roam, this tiny light helps you find your way home. And when you see this star, think about me, about the times we had, the times yet to be. Look for this star, and know when you do that I'll be watching this star, thinking of you. Take a picture and hold it in your mind's eye. So when the clouds close in, you can still see the sky. There are so few things on which we can depend, but you can count on this star to shine without end. And when you see this star, think about me, about the times we had, the times yet to be. Look for the star, and know when you do that I'll be watching this star, thinking of you. That I'll be watching this star, thinking of you. I'll be watching this star, thinking of you.
Friends, it is disappointing that we cannot be together and speak the words and do the rituals the way we would like to do. Normally, at this point in this service, I would recognize all of the religious education teachers who have guided our children and youth this year, and we would shower them with flowers and smiles. But that's not possible right now. But I can still call their names, and when you see them on Facebook or in a Zoom gathering, or maybe you recognize them from behind their mask at the grocery store, you can give them a thumbs up. Here are our teachers of the past year: Tabitha Ayers, Joyce Shepard, Janet Harris, Gilletta Brandt, Steve Walsh, Karen Gallagly, Laura Herzog. Teachers, we thank you. And I also like to thank all of the folks who assisted the RE teachers this year, all who made presentations last summer and who helped RE coordinator Jody Ruffner in making the RE program nurturing, formative, meaningful, and fun. And before we introduce our graduating seniors, I want to give a shout out to Maddie Herzog, who has completed 8th grade and will be entering Murfreesboro High School next year. Well done, Maddie.
Because of the coronavirus safety restrictions, high school graduation has been really different for everyone. My niece, Emma, graduated high school in Evergreen, Colorado. And I really look forward to seeing her walk across the stage. It's now planned for August, but who knows? Schools and families had to be innovative and creative in marking this very important milestone. And CUF is no different. Our high school graduates, Aiden Ruffner and Natalie McGrain, gave phone interviews that were turned into videos by their interviewers. Enjoy.
I had the distinct pleasure of interviewing Aiden Ruffner following her recent graduation from Murfreesboro High School. Aiden is 17 and is the daughter of Jody and Charles Ruffner and her brothers, Jacob Ruffner. She's been coming to the fellowship with her parents her whole life. Soccer and volleyball have been an important part of her life, and from what I've seen on her mother's Facebook, were sports that she's also quite talented in. She said one of her most meaningful accomplishments was being inducted into the National Honor Society. Aiden will be attending SIU Edwardsville in the fall, where she'll be studying speech and language pathology. She hopes to someday get her master's degree and work in a hospital setting with children. She said her big dream would be to work with deaf children who receive cochlear implants and help them learn how to speak and produce sounds. She said other big life goals are to have children in a family, and she wants to travel the world. Aiden said some of her favorite memories at the fellowship are trick-or-treating for UNICEF and participating in Cardboard City. Aiden said that growing up in the fellowship has taught her that we should be respectful to everyone. She said that church has taught her to be okay with herself and everyone around her. I think that's just beautiful. Aiden, we wish you all the best as you begin this exciting new time in your life. We look forward to hearing of your future adventures and endeavors. We know you will be a blessing to the world.
I'm delighted to introduce our high school graduate, Natalie McGrain. Natalie is the daughter of Rhoda Schwartz and Steve McGrain. She has 3 siblings, Zach Schwartz, Becca McGrain, and Leah McGrain. Natalie has been working in our nursery and has been part of our CUF religious education community for close to 4 years now. Natalie really looked forward to our potluck Sundays because the food was so great. The annual bread service was one of her favorite CUF traditions. When asked how her time at our fellowship may have made a lasting impression on her, she replied, "There's always something you can learn from everyone around you. You get a lot out of conversations you have with people, sometimes when you least expect it." She absolutely loved working in the nursery and thought it was great and sincerely appreciated seeing the kids grow up. Some of her best memories of her high school years was her daily ritual of eating breakfast, then heading to the library where she would get to talk to various teachers one-on-one before classes started. Her experience serving as a TA really helped her make closer connections with school staff that would most likely not have happened otherwise. She was surprised and touched to hear some of her teachers speak so personally about her as an individual during her graduation ceremony. It really meant a lot to her. Natalie will be traveling to Wisconsin to spend the summer and maybe longer with her dad and 2 sisters, and will be relaxing, resting, and taking time to contemplate what her next chapter in life may be. Some of her future aspirations are to become fluent in another or many other languages, including German and sign language. And she would like to do a lot of traveling. She knows both of these pursuits will broaden her horizons greatly. Natalie misses everyone at the fellowship and wants you all to know that no matter where life takes her, she will always make her way back from time to time to visit. Natalie, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and having you on our RE team and a part of our CUF family. We wish you all the best as you travel onto this next path in your life. You are a delightful young person and have so much to share with the world. We look forward to hearing all about your adventures when you come to visit.
Our reading today is by Jill Ann Terwilliger. It was chosen especially to honor Aidan and Natalie. It is a litany responsive reading. I'll lead, and please join with Reverend Sarah on the response. We give you our blessings. The fifth and last response is, we give you our blessings and our love. For the longing that told you it was time for a change,
we give you our blessings.
for the courage it took to answer the call,
we give you our blessings.
for the choices already made, and for the daily choices that will shape the life ahead of you,
we give you our blessings.
for the communities that have shown you who you are, and the new communities waiting to discover you in your new ventures,
We give you our blessings.
for the great mystery of what lies ahead,
We give you our blessings and our love.
may you see something of beauty along the way. Touch hands with those you love and give more than you get.
Natalie and Aidan, we wish you the best on your path. We're mailing you 2 gifts for your journeys: the Backpacker's Notebook, Exploring Unitarian Universalist Faith and Community, and the book Becoming, a Spiritual Guide for Navigating Adulthood. I encourage you to seek out the UU Young Adult group wherever you may go. And remember that CUF will always be your home congregation. We've got your back. Now, please join in singing the hymn, Woyaya. The words are on the screen.
Life coach Mike Bundrant writes in an essay that as our society changes, milestones that mark success and progress evolve. He suggests we look at some less familiar but more meaningful moments, which reveal our values, such as humility and acceptance, or that show us our greatness. He lists leaving home, realizing your parents are real people, surviving disappointment, dealing with the death of a loved one, failing, and doing something selfless, among others.
As we listen to the life milestones shared by CUF congregation members, I invite you to think of your own milestones, large and small, public or personal, which have been a part of your journey in the past year.
From Rhonda Kosmicki, in September, my 5th grandchild, Arlo Juniper, was born. He is a happy baby, and our first grandchild with blue eyes and red hair. Also in December, I officially started private practice, which has been my goal since starting back to school in 2008. Over the next year, I hope to phase out of my time at Caritas Family Solutions, complete my clinical licensure, and make private practice my main gig.
From Miriam Link Mullison, in February, Don and I were happy to welcome our granddaughter, Lily, into our family. Her parents are Ben and Chrissy. Ben grew up in this fellowship. Lily is our second grandchild.
From Jess Job, I left the job I held for 17 plus years and took a position training and supporting those in my profession. I've been enjoying my new role, despite the interesting and uncertain times.
From Roy Sumner, my youngest, Laurel Dillon Sumner, married Allison Hansel on February 29 in Miami. Among others attending were Laurel's sisters, Amber and Tara, and nieces, Juniper, Clementine, and Cameron.
Bridget Shepard starts a promising new job in women's health tomorrow. She is super excited. Her son Luca passed all his classes and is headed to 3rd grade in the fall.
Candy Davis's grandson Jimmy turned 18 this year and graduated from high school in Bethesda, Maryland.
Jody Ruffner packed up her things and walked out of Carruthers School in Murfreesboro for the last time after 20 years. It's a leap of faith that feels right. She's ready to undertake her master's degree studies this fall.
Bob Swenson finished teaching in the SIU Architecture Department this month and has retired again as a faculty member, this time for real.
In January, Susie Phillips stepped down from the board of directors of the Friends of WSIU after serving 19 years.
Wesley Youngblood was born this year, has started walking and screeching, and will turn 1 in a few weeks.
And some milestones from Janet Harris. My youngest grandson, Kadir, turned 1 on May 12th. My dad, Stan, turned 102 on March 5th. And we have 7 people, 4 generations managing to live together and survive social isolation and each other during the coronavirus pandemic.
Thanks to all who contributed to this service. Musicians Karen and Bob Swenson, Candy Davis, Boja Kragoj, and Maki Ito Pardiek. Our Time for All Ages presenter, Jody Ruffner, Aiden and Natalie, Jody and Rhonda, all who shared milestones, and to Amy Weber for putting it all together so masterfully. Thanks to all who contributed to this online service. And that includes each and all of you who watched this video, who read the words, sing the songs, send your checks, share your sorrows and joys and milestones. We feel each other's presence and help each other get through these difficult days. And now, please join hands if you've got someone with you, or turn your palms up to receive and give the benediction. These words are by John Morgan. In the end, it won't matter how much we have.
But how generously we have given.
It won't matter how much we know.
But rather how well we live.
And it won't matter how much we believe.
But how deeply we love.
Amen. Now please join in singing our sung benediction, Blessings of Love, played by Maki Ito Pardiak. The words are on the screen. Go in peace with love for justice.